Shall we? So in this class we are going to study about basic concepts in bilingualism. So bilingualism has become the truth or the reality of India today because we are having three language formula in the schools as well as in the metros. Mostly the majority of the communication will be happening in another language, which may be Hindi, English, along with our own language, which is the local language. So what are the things to be understood? The first thing to be understood is bilingualism, learning two or more languages. Multilingualism, learning three or more languages. So what do you learn in the languages? We learn the content part of it, that is the words and the meanings of the words. We learn the form of it, that is the sentence structure as well as the word orders, and we learn the use of it. Are they different in different languages? Yes, they are different in different languages. How do you give the example? Content, for example, anything, water means water, and the same water, for instance, in a coastal area would be having multiple words for it. A rice in Tamil Nadu, because it is a rice eating place, would be having some 10 names minimum. You may not be knowing, but there will be 10 names minimum. One would be the Rava, one would be Siraka Samba, one would be Ratnavali, one would be some rice. So people who are making things, they will not say just rice. But if you go to Uttar Pradesh, somewhere where rice is less or less eaten, it will be Basmati or only rice. So depending upon the place, the meaning of certain concepts also keep changing. So that also you have to learn. So those concepts also you have to learn based upon the language you are exposed to. The second thing is the form of the language. For example, Ram ate an apple, subject, verb, object. Ram ne seb khaya, subject. Here is the verb in English, but the object comes next in the Hindi language. And then the verb. So the grammar is changing per se, right? If you see in Tamil, Ram apple sapita. So here also it is subject, object, verb, but in Hindi this ne part is coming. Do you see anywhere ne in this? No. In English, if you see then an part is coming. Do you see anything like an in this? No. So which means that the form of the language will also change depending upon the language you are speaking. Similarly, the rules by which the words are combined together would change. For example, if I say Hem Sagar, can this be a word in Tamil? No, it cannot be a word in Tamil, right? Because Hem Sagar is a word in Bengali, let's say that's the name of a mango. It cannot be a word in Tamil because those combinations are not available in Tamil. Can Alfonso be a word in Odia? Marathi, can it be a word? You are from Maharashtra, right? Hindi, no. So can Alfonso be a word in any language like Hindi, or in Khasi can it be a word? No, it cannot be. Alfonso can be a word in English only. Alfonso is also the name of a mango which is very popular, right? So we know that these word combinations are not available in certain languages. So the person has to learn the form, grammar, word combination, the phonology and the morphology of it. Similarly, the use of the language. All the languages are not used in the same way. For example, Harish has come is something which is used in English to indicate that Harish has come. Formal. Teacher has come. No issues in this. But if you say the same thing in Hindi, Harish aa gaya. But when you write it for the teacher, then it will say Sikshak ji ya Sikshak mahoday aa gaye hain. So it changes in terms of the honorific terms. He, hai. So one place, two place change. Harish, ji. So you see three changes are there, spontaneous in terms of just one simple sentence because it is in another Indian language. The same thing can happen in Tamil also. So the moment you start using the language, it depends upon where it is being used. So the person has to learn the content, the form, the usage of the languages. So two languages learning places different demands on the person's neurocognitive capabilities. Hence, bilingualism and multilingualism needs to be understood appropriately, assessment needs to be done, therapy needs to be done similarly. So what happens? How this can be learned? For example, if a child who is there in, a child from a Odia house is there in Tamil Nadu, then he will be speaking Odia at home would be getting interacted with Odia at home, but outside would be speaking Tamil. So it is simultaneously before the age of 3 years the child would be learning that. So simultaneous bilingualism, that is 2 languages before the critical age of 3 years, automatically learning. Now the child is learning, for example, Odia at home, and then finally we decide that okay, the child goes to a school, 3 language formula is there. So by 5 years of age, that's beyond 3 years of age, English is introduced. So as English is introduced, then it will be sequential bilingualism. So we will be speaking Odia at home, but English is introduced after the critical age. So it is known as sequential bilingualism, which keeps happening. The third would be, how does it impact? It will be like additive bilingualism, which means that both the languages actually aid towards each other and the expression capability increases. So Gandhiji used to say, we need to implement Hindustani language in India, which means that the mixture of Urdu and Hindi together. Because the poetic part of Urdu and the richness of the grammar and the Sanskrit influence on Hindi both make it a very rich language. So all the good cinema dialogues in Hindi before 1980s, whatever black and white types if you see, then those are rich Hindustani languages in which so much of Urdu and Hindi is mixed, so that it's a pleasure to hear dialogues itself. Okay, not this Mumbaiya Hindi which is happening nowadays, which is hopeless in all means. So that was additive bilingualism. Similarly, subtractive bilingualism, which we all are suffering in that particular subtractive bilingualism because of an overemphasis on English. Most of our native languages are lost slow and steady. We are getting emotionally disconnected. We are getting, in general, socially disconnected. That's a truth. So there is a loss or neglect of one language because of another language, because of which there are certain losses which are happening, and the child would be preferring one particular language, and with pride we would be saying that okay, my Tamil is not that good. It should not be done, right? So that is known as subtractive bilingualism. Then the next is balanced bilingualism, where both the languages are learned appropriately together and both the languages help out equally learned. The effect of it, code switching and code mixing. So take 2 sentences. We will complete the class, उसके बाद खेलते हैं. We'll complete the class and after that we'll go to play. So one sentence complete in English, then the next sentence complete in Hindi. This is code switching. Code switching. The other part is हम लोग क्लास कंप्लीट करते हैं, फिर we will play. So here if you say what happens, हम लोग is Hindi, class complete is English, करते हैं is Hindi again, फिर is Hindi again, we will play is English again. So all of these are mixed out. Hence these are known as code mixing. So these are common phenomena which would be happening and would be seen in bilinguals and multilinguals. This needs to be addressed and understood because your clients should be presenting themselves in this way. You should not be fitting them into delays or deviances. So assessment will also change and therapy also will change, and what is to be said, that also needs to be understood, because they will be asking, shall we use only one language at home? Shall we stop using that? Will that confuse? What is the impact of it? How do we balance it? These questions should be asked, and these are practical questions to be answered. Okay, so this is about basic concepts in bilingualism, semester 4. Done.